Welcome and thank you for taking the time to view our Grantseekers webinar. My name is Mia Hansen, Director of Programs and Communications at the Community Foundation of Kankakee River Valley. The goal of this webinar is to explain the basis of our application process, as well as what's included in our fall grant cycle. We'll also dive in a bit and talk about the required documents needed for your grant submission and the expectations for those. I'll leave my contact information posted on the last slide of this presentation, so if there are any questions you still have after, please do not hesitate to reach out. First and foremost, our mission is to connect people who care with causes that matter in our community. And we do that by assisting donors with building endowments to support their favorite causes in our region. Our purpose is to enhance the quality of life in Kankakee and Iroquois County today and for the future. We continue to carry out our purpose through our grant awards. Last year, we awarded over $437,000 to nonprofits across Kankakee and Iroquois County. We accept grant applications online through our online grants portal. You can access the portal through our website at www.cfkrv.org under the Grants tab. In the fall of 2022, we launched our new grants portal, so if you have not applied for a grant with our organization since then, this will be your first time seeing the new application. In a moment, I'll show you what that looks like and how to create your account. This year, they also launched a new dashboard, so if you're a returning organization, it will look a little different from previous years. Awards are made to organizations with a charitable 501c3 classification by the IRS or quasi-governmental agencies such as schools, libraries, and park districts. Applying organizations without a 501c3 designation that do not qualify as a quasi-governmental agency can be represented by a fiscal sponsor, although only one application will be accepted per 501c3. This includes those acting as a fiscal sponsor. Proper documentation must be provided to verify your eligibility. While the Community Foundation attempts to remain flexible in responding to community needs, in general, there are several things that grants are not eligible to be awarded for. This includes religious purposes, purchase of advertising, capital or operation debt reduction, political campaigns, or supports to attempt to influence legislative issues of any government body. We also do not accept multiple proposals from more than one organization. There are 3 grants offered in our fall grant cycle, which are the Community Stewardship Fund, Robert K. Dunn Charitable Trust Fund, and the Fine Arts Fund. Each of these have a specific set of eligibility criteria. The full grant guidelines for each can be found on our website under the Grants tab by selecting Grant Opportunities. Now let's dive a bit into each of the grant opportunities in the fall grant cycle. First, we have the Community Stewardship Fund. This is intended to award grants for the ever-changing needs in our community. This includes humanities, career pathways, education, health and human services, public safety, and more. A full list of eligible categories is included in the grant guidelines. Next, we have the Robert K. Dunn Charitable Trust Grant. The Robert Dunn trustees believe that it is necessary to invest its limited funds where they have the greatest impact on youth. Priority will be given to the projects and programs directed at youth that address the following. This includes promote participation and racial integration of at-risk youth or vulnerable youth in team sports, assisting youth who are abused or neglected or mentally, physically, or emotionally challenged, or reduce violence in the community. The Fine Arts Fund will award grants to programs or projects pertaining to the 7 pillars of arts. These include painting, music, literature, architecture, sculpture, performing arts, and film. Some examples of each include painting murals or artwork that bring people together, supporting music programs in schools as well as local symphonies, orchestras, bands, and choirs, sponsoring authors to speak at local libraries, supporting programs for children to learn about the field of architecture or local architecture history, commissioning sculptures for shared community spaces, supporting the production of local theater and musicals, or supporting the making of documentaries highlighting local people and history. As mentioned, all grant applications will be completed in the grants portal. This is found on our website under our grants tab, and this is where you'll submit your application, as well as any follow-up forms or evaluations needed. You'll also see additional information related to our grants, such as the grant opportunities, the grant writing tools, and grant stories. If your organization has already applied for a grant and has established an organization profile in our grants portal, you will need to be added as an affiliate to the organization. So please contact me or someone on our team to be added as a user. If your organization has not yet applied for a grant and is not established in our grants portal, you can just go ahead and select Create New Account. And then once your account is created, you can log in to access the open applications. So just to reiterate that, if your organization already has a profile and you're someone new who needs to be added, you're going to have to contact me so I can add you to the profile, and that way you can view any past history, any past grants, but you don't want to go ahead and create another account because it's going to create two organization accounts. If you're brand new to the portal, your organization has never applied for a grant before, then you can just go ahead and create a new account. So once you have your account created, you'll be able to see the available grants. You can click Apply to begin the application. You can sign in and out of the grants portal and work on your application as many times as you'd like up to the deadline. You'll sign into the grants portal with your user ID and password, and then your active request will show up on your dashboard. Just go ahead and select Edit, and then you can continue your application. So you complete the questions in each section of the application. The system does use conditional logic, so questions may appear or disappear based on how you answer the questions. Required questions are marked with an asterisk and must be completed in order to submit the application. With this grant platform, you do have the option to collaborate with other users. Specifically, organizations who are being represented by a fiscal sponsor will utilize this feature. If you select that your organization is being represented by a fiscal sponsor, you'll be prompted to invite them to collaborate on the application, and they will be required to fill out those specific sections that are addressed to the fiscal sponsor. This can include required document uploads and declarations and compliance. Additionally, any applicant may invite members to collaborate on their application, and you can give them access as an editor or viewer. When completing, just a tip, when completing the essay, go ahead and type the questions in like a Word document and then copy and paste your response into the question box and then click Save. You can type them directly into the text box of the program as you go, but it's always best practice just to hit Save and have a backup in the event that the system times out, the internet goes out, or any other technical difficulties, which always are fun to handle. This is an overview of the required documents and attachments needed to submit the application. We're going to dive in a bit more of each section and show you examples, just so you know exactly what we're looking for. First, we have the project, the budget worksheet. This is under the project information section, and you'll see that there is a required budget upload. So the grants committee has asked that we use a uniform budget spreadsheet so that they can capture all the relevant information. This also lets you, the applicant, know what we're expecting. This spreadsheet is included in the grant writing tools section under the grants tab on our website, and is also linked directly in the application. So you'll click that link in the application, it'll download this worksheet, and then you'll go ahead and fill it in, save it, and upload it for your budget. Here's an example of a good budget. And then also you'll see there's a section this year for the budget narrative. So this was added to assist you within describing your budget needs and why they're important. But on this example budget, you see the line items, you see descriptions underneath, and then they have all of the boxes filled in, such as the total cost, what they're requesting from CFKRV, what's funded through other sources, and then the percentage of their budget, and then all the totals at the bottom. This is an example of an OK grant budget. You see that they do have different sections. Everything's filled in, but it leaves a lot to the imagination. There's no, just as workshops, it doesn't say, the different topics or the supplies needed, things like that. And then this is an example of a bad budget. It just says the workforce readiness program, which is just saying this is our project budget. It's not giving us anything. And then next we'll talk about the timeline. So new this year is the question. It asks, using a timeline of your project or program, please describe in detail how your grant will be implemented. So use specific dates, times, topics, and kind of narrate your timeline. And then you also have the option to upload additional documents. So if you want to do a traditional timeline instead of just having the narrative, you can do that as well. Here's kind of a description of a not so well written timeline. It leaves much to the imagination. There's no clear information that you can provide to the committee, and it leaves a lot of filling in the blank when reviewing the application. This is the required letter of determination. So if you're a 501c3, you'll have this letter of determination, and this is the letter that we're looking for to prove that status. So this has the organization's information on the left with the federal tax ID on the right-hand side, and then it clearly states in the letter that this organization is 501c3 federal tax exempt. This is often confused with the Illinois sales tax exempt certificate, and that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for that federal letter of determination. Most tax-exempt organizations are required to file an annual return. Which form the organization must file generally depends on their financial activity, and then you can see that broken down in the chart below. This is also on our website under the grant writing tools, and it's your responsibility to just know which form you are required to fill out. So that can be the 990, the 990 Easy, or the 990N, which is the postcard. This is an example of the 990. Here's an example of the 990N. So any of those forms are acceptable, like I said, or if you're required to upload the postcard. If your organization is not required to upload a Form 990, we are requesting that your organization turn in their W-9, and this must be current within the last year, and this here is an example of the W-9. Additionally, we do request that you upload a document with your governing board. So the document should include your all board members' first and last name, the city and state of residence, employer and their title, and then their email address. We also require a balance sheet, or also can be referred to as a statement of financial position. This discloses what an entity owns, which is the assets, and what it owes, which is the liabilities, at any specific point in time. So this is not listing the profits, loss, cash flow, market value, things like that. We are looking at assets versus liabilities. So here's an example of the balance sheet. You see the date at top, statement of financial position, and then assets versus liabilities. This here is an example, which is not a balance sheet. It's a statement of activities, and it is showing revenue versus expenses and the different line items, and that's not what we're looking for. If your organization is required to file a financial audit, we ask that you submit that in your application. Once again, it's your organization's responsibility to know if you're required to file one. You see here on the slide, it says effective January 2024, a charitable organization with annual contributions more than $500,000 must file an audited financial statement prepared by an independent CPA. And then charitable organizations with contributions between $300,000 and $500,000 must file a financial statement with the Attorney General. Once all of the required questions are answered and all the required documents are uploaded, you can select to submit your application. You'll receive an email stating that your application has been successfully submitted. If all the required questions are not answered, you won't be able to submit your application. All submissions are due by Friday, September 11th. After the applications are submitted, they're reviewed and evaluated. First, it goes to the staff review, which is used to determine if all your attachments are correct and current, as well as if your grant fits into the focus areas of the grant. Then they'll move on to the grants committee, which will do their evaluations, and they are looking for if your application has a clear purpose and goals, serves a high need population, is measurable and attainable, has ambitious and realistic activities, has a well-conceived plan, timeline, and clearly planned outcomes, good usage of funds and a realistic budget, if you plan for collaborations as well as plan for future funding. After the two-step review process, the grants committee will present their recommendations to the board for approval. And then once approved, you'll be notified either by phone or by email. And this should happen in early to mid-November. If your organization is selected for an award, you'll have to fill out the grant acceptance form, and this is in the portal. Or if they're being denied an award, you will receive a email through that grants portal as well. It's a good idea to add the email for the grants portal, which is administer@grantinterface.com. That way that those notifications do not go to spam. In your grant acceptance form, you'll be asked your preference for grant reporting. We are now offering the choice between written evaluations, phone or virtual interview, video submission, or a site visit. Written evaluations are completed and assigned in the grants portal. If you want to do a phone or video submission, you can email me that to get that set up, or if for the site visit as well. We just ask that if your organization has done a site visit in the past 2 years for like the same or similar program, that you select a different form of evaluation. But either way, all those evaluations need to be either completed or scheduled by June 11th of 2027. So this slide just has some of the important dates to remember. The applications for the fall grant cycle will open on this Friday, July 31st. They will be due Friday, September 11th. And then you'll be notified early to mid-November if your organization is receiving an award. And then evaluations will be due by June 11th of next year. And that concludes our Fall Grant Seekers webinar. Like I said, if you have any additional questions, whether that's about your specific project, if it falls into a focus area, which grant your project best falls in of the three, if you have questions about your documents that to be uploaded, if you're having any trouble uploading them, just anything in general, feel free to reach out. My email is listed here, mia@cfkrv.org, or you can call the foundation office, 815-939-1611, and my extension is 102. And thank you so much for viewing the webinar, and I look forward to reading your submissions. Have a great one.